We back?
We are back.
We back.
Mm-hmm.
Can I Talk My Shift podcast? LaShawn G. Walker, Samuel Walker.
Season 3.
Yeah.
Episode 1.
Episode 1.
This is going to be a life update episode, but just for those who are new to the pod, welcome. We want to thank you for joining us. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast. Go ahead and make sure you rate the podcast. Let us know you love it by giving it 5 stars and review it so that we know what to continuously bring to you. We are a podcast that promotes community. We promote wellness and healing. We promote personal accountability. We advocate for loving, healthy relationships. We support you in life after loss.
We do all of those things, and on top of that, we make sure that we bring the love. We bring the love, man. And you know what's crazy? Firstly, I want to thank whoever is here listening to our podcast. Like I said, or like Wifey said, this is episode 3.
Season 3.
Season 3, episode 1. The rigidness around podcasting, I believe that I myself personally got caught up in that. And I'm noticing that there's this trend where, with a podcast, you are supposed to learn something. You're supposed to grow in some kind of way. Some helpful tips on how to get something done in your life that maybe you're having challenges with. Or it's just an entertainment podcast, or you got the mystery podcast. So many different categories now that are out here. And I think, me personally, I was so focused on trying to be different, where that created the inconsistency of us recording. And I want to apologize to all of our avid listeners and fans out there for that reason, because it created an insurmountable amount of stress and pressure on us to be great on these microphones when really we already that. And I think that the title in itself allows people to come in with their guard down, have an open mind and an open heart for what we have to say, because truth be told, we just love our community. We love our people. And I'm learning as we go along that we really do have a huge heart center for building a community and just diving into changes all around in life, yo. Holistic health, where we want to live at, what the American dream really is versus what it was taught to us as. Just all these different things, that we want to question. And I know there's people out there who feel the same way.
Yeah, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel, but we do want to be able to express ourselves on this particular platform in a way that is helpful, impactful, real, authentic, and something that will give you, as the listener, something to chew on after you've listened. We don't want to keep you here all day, but we want to give you some food for thought.
I want to keep you all day long. I want you here. You feel me? Like you in the room. I don't know. I want to keep you here.
Well, people still got to get to the bag.
I don't know what she's talking about. I'm trying to keep you here. I'm trying to be in your ear while you get into the motherfucking bag. I'm going to be in your ear while you get into the bag, while you counting your coins, while you checking your bank account. I'm going to be in your earlobe. You heard? Like, that's how it's going to be. I don't know what they talking about.
Well, while we have you in this episode, episode 1, season 3. We are going to just give you just a little life update. If you feel the need and the spirit moves you, go back to season 2, go back to season 1, check out a lot of what we're talking about, and then it'll get you up to speed to where we are now. Ending season 2, we had some news that we were going to share, and then we had just life happen. So after the last episode that we published last year, we were going to into the next holiday, which we learned, I guess maybe a couple weeks later, that we were going to be expecting a little one.
Yeah, we conceived on my birthday.
Yeah.
Go figure.
11/11. And now our little boop is here.
Almost 4 months old.
She will be 4 months old next week, on the 5th. And so we had that happen. We learned that. And the same day that we learned that, we learned that my brother was ill. My twin brother was ill and was in the hospital. Or actually, we didn't learn that until later in the week. But I won't get all into it, but the same day we found out, in retrospect, the same day we found out we were pregnant was the same day that my twin brother went into the hospital. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to sustain life on the medicine that he was being administered, and he transitioned on January 6th. So the end of 2023 and the beginning of 2024 was pretty tough. But if you want to talk about support, man, you will fully understand why we weren't able to come back into the pod space for a while, because Samuel was the biggest support during that time. So you're looking at loss, but you're also looking at first trimester things. And he really held me up during that time. We actually spent about 3 weeks in Virginia. That's where we are originally from, both of us. And we just were there with family and taking care of business. Throughout that time, we got a lot of support, people leaning in, showing us love. And when we came back home, it was right back to work.
Yeah, right back to the grind with a different attitude.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say thank you for allowing me to assist you at that time, because we need to unpack that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If we're catching people up to what's been going on and where we've been at. Death is a double-edged sword. Excuse me. Because when you are caught up in the rigidness, and that's going to be a new word all 2025 that I'm going to be using, the rigidness of an idea, a philosophy, a religion, a belief, when someone that you love comes with something that challenges that said belief or idea or religion, and you tend to, or you start to have clarity with the thing that is challenging your current belief, all while being emotionally distraught, it can be very tough, extremely intense, and something feels like it's insurmountable in a way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, you're unlearning and you're learning something new. You're peeling back layers. You're trying to exist in a place like it's the norm, but there's a new norm that's happening, and you have to allow space for that to occur. And so my wife, she was able to navigate through all of that and currently is still navigating through all of that each and every day. And I'm grateful that you allowed me to assist you. And I'm saying assist you and not guide you, because that's all I could do at that time.
Yeah.
All I could do was assist you and allow you the space to sift through, figure out what needed to stay and what didn't, emotionally, spiritually, right?
Mm-hmm.
Navigate through your own negativity, positivity, all of those things, and just be an anchor and a reminder of who you are.
Yeah.
And I think that, with grace and time and patience, I was able to assist you in the best ways that I could. I know that there was some days, I didn't know what to do. You didn't know what to do. We didn't know what to do.
We did not know. I mean, because everything was new. Everything. I mean, being pregnant, and being, in the first trimester, experiencing all the things, the nausea, the sleeping crazy, the just everything, everything. And experiencing, I mean, even before my brother passed away, we were going to the hospital every day during the week that we were in Virginia. The first week that we were there, we were driving an hour, 2 hours a day to visit him. An hour there, an hour back,
right?
To my sister's house. And that alone, is draining. It can be draining when you're there and then you're experiencing the emotions. You're sitting with him, talking, hoping that it's not the last conversations, but really relishing in every conversation, making it meaningful, and doing that for an entire week straight.
Yeah.
It can be a lot. So all of that was new. I'm thankful that we were able to share with him that we were going to be having a baby. I'm thankful that he was able to see us both in person, that we were able to get there and be with him, be with family, and having to support me, or I don't know what you want to call it, wanting to, willing to, being able to support me during that roller coaster time, and even the roller coaster afterwards of grieving and celebrating. I'm still doing that. Like you said, we're still in it. Even, 10 months later, almost 11 months later, it's a challenge, but you have a gift of being able to support in a way that allows people to still be themselves, still experience the emotions that come with losing a person you love, but also being able to celebrate their life.
Right.
Because that's what it's really about, right? A long, long time ago, when I lost my dad, I had an old teammate who made sure to tell me, be sure to celebrate your dad's life. We understand mourning happens, and mourning is going to be there, and you're grieving that person, but be sure to remember to celebrate their life. And on our birthday, 3 months later, I celebrated his life by, watching some movies that I knew that he really loved and enjoyed. So, and you let me do that. And anytime I had an outburst or just a sudden strike of sadness, you allowed me to sit in that and be in that and experience that. And you were there for me to comfort me. And I'm not going to cry on this podcast today, but I really want to thank you, because those times do still come up. And it's mixed in now with just the hormones of postpartum and experiencing this new life. I think God really knew. I think Spirit knew as one life was transitioning out, another was transitioning in, and it was just most appropriate. So I thank you. I know that was a lot to say, but I really
I'm learning
you.
to actively listen, take compliments, and say thank you. Not respond with something that pushes it away, but receive it wholeheartedly. That's something else that we'll talk about in later episodes as men, that we don't know how to take compliments. We won't take compliments for whatever reason. So I've been working on that, and I'm grateful that you can acknowledge that, and you just being the great woman that you are. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Tough. It's been a tough year. I think, not just for us, but man, for everybody.
A lot of
everybody
people
out here has been going through some things, and it seems like the outlets are becoming more and more narrow, because even though we want to express, we also want to be heard and felt.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's important that we have this episode and give you all the updates and continue to work through our emotion, because like I said, 2024, boy, the faster I can put that behind us, the better, because man, it has been heavy, but there's been a lot of light that has come out of it as well, like our daughter. As if we didn't, we got the 11-year-old, right? But then we got the new bundle of joy that came out of it.
And she's an angel. She's an angel. She's an absolute angel. You may hear her from time to time in the podcast. We are not above having her join us. We are not trying to suppress her. We do try to get the pod in while she's napping, and sometimes, that's not always going to be the case for us. So
that part.
In those times where you hear a little whimpering and baby cooing, she's just joining us, and that's all right. I might have to go get her now, because I see her on the monitor lifting her head and waking up. But I will say, with this new life, it in our arms every single day, it has transitioned. I know me as a mom, a new mom, a first-time mom, over 40. It has transformed me in a way that I couldn't have imagined, and I'm grateful for it. With that, I think part of the life update of the journey of moving is one thing that I really am excited about. We're here in Atlanta, and we have family here, and we have friends here. We have people we love and rock with, but we get to have her. We get to share memories with her as she gets older of, her first months in Atlanta. And we get to also expand on that and journey into a new state, new territory that she gets to explore and learn. And she may not remember it, but she will definitely have the pictures. she'll have the video to go back and look at, which I'm excited about. And, we get to just experience that newness together. And I'm excited about that.
Absolutely. Absolutely excited. Was a little anxiety in the beginning, but, as we've learned to let go of a lot of perfectionism and how we think things are supposed to look, you start to embrace and be grateful for the journey that you on and all the things that have lined up in your favor. Yeah, I am excited, and just to unpack it a little bit, all the moving that I've been a part of, I've never been the leader. I was always the one helping other people move their houses, right? Move their things from one place to another. I've learned how to do it by helping and assisting others. So this being my family and me being the head of household, it's a little different because, I have to make sure everything's taken care of, managing the emotion that comes with getting rid of some of the things that, I have a lot of emotion around, or my wife has a lot of emotion around. Mitigating the schedule because it's just us. We don't have anybody that's watching our newborn, right? So having to take that workload on, and I'm not complaining right now. I'm just giving you, I'm kind of clearing the space because I think as men, we don't really take into consideration what it means to be the head of household in the family. We look at it and we see it and we try to mirror the ones that we grew up upon, right? Whether it's your dad, your grandfather, an uncle, an older best friend, or an older, older sibling, or if you don't have anybody to model, I've learned to make these things my own. And so watching my beautiful family grow and then also uprooting them to put them in a new place. And it's not just like I can go like how I did before. I can just go and move around and shake and you know what I mean? Make those decisions at a whim and deal with the consequences because it's just me. Got whole other bodies involved and lives involved. It's been a lot to shoulder. I have a newfound appreciation for my father, my uncle, and even my older friends and my brother too. Because unlike other podcasts out there, and this is no shots, but I'm about unity. I'm about us working in harmony and showing others like us in our culture, younger, older, right? Just getting into a relationship 40 plus years, everywhere in between, more, less, that we need each other and we can coexist and we can thrive just like our ancestors did within love and union.
Right.
And working through the tough times together and not chalking it up because things get tough.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what 2024 has been about for me personally, is not looking for exits, but looking for another way to go in deeper.
Right. Because if you experienced any of what we've experienced, it's stuff that make you want to bail. No lie. At least, and if not completely bail, it's not like the thought doesn't come up.
Yeah.
But that's what makes us the strong unit that we are, is like we can acknowledge that, hey man, listen, it was not comfortable and it definitely felt this way. But I'm here, I'm still here, and not only am I here, I'm present and I'm active and I want to be here and I choose to be here.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who don't want to be in relationships and they have really valid reasons, and that I can acknowledge that and say, yo, that's a really great reason for you and a great truth for you. that you don't want to be in a relationship because you know that you can't handle the energy and the time that it takes to build with another person. And I can respect that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I rather respect that versus a person who relationship hops or freely gives their body to another person for, short-term satisfaction and gratification. So I think that it's important when we are in these relationships, and as you'll see further along in this season as we touch on these things, that it is important to know your bandwidth.
Yes.
Because you're going to be stretched, because relationships, that's what it takes. It takes you to be stretched.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have anything to anchor in, right, as far as spirit goes, it's going to tear your ass up, man.
Yes.
It's going to tear your ass up, period. I mean, life would do that in general, but when you navigating through life and you don't have nothing to anchor in.
Mm-hmm. And that's as an individual. As an individual, you need to be certain that you have a certain bandwidth for whatever it is that you're doing. And again, if you guys hear anything in the background, that's baby girl. She's eating right now. But as an individual, navigating life, navigating what you are navigating, whatever that is, if it's easy for you right now, if it's a challenge for you right now, you need to know and acknowledge and know your bandwidth. And if you don't know it, you need to get to know what your bandwidth is to navigate whatever journey path that you are journeying, because the minute that you add anybody else to it, whether it's your partner, whether it is a child or children, a bonus child, whatever, a dog, like a pet, if you cannot be honest with the bandwidth that you have for yourself, you're not going to be honest with the bandwidth that you will be able to have with another body or another situation in your space and in your atmosphere. I think that's probably the biggest thing that, we've learned over the course of this year is our bandwidth, because we did burn out. There were some periods of honestly being burnt out. I remember us earlier in the year working 12 days in a row, 16 days in a row, just trying to make it happen, and because we had to, and realizing when we actually got a place of respite that we were freaking tired. We had nothing left to give, and we still had to give. So we know what that feels like to realize, oh, I've tapped out of my bandwidth, and also realize, oh, snap, I still have to do fill in the blank thing. So to anybody listening, if you're feeling burnt out, acknowledge before this year is over. What do we have? 4 weeks before the year is over now. You better take some time and acknowledge your bandwidth. You're going into a brand new 365 days. Acknowledge the bandwidth that you have, whatever that is, and then put in place a plan for yourself for whatever goals that you have this year, whatever relationships you want to cultivate. Put that in writing for yourself so you know how to tackle it as this year ends and you go into a brand new year. We acknowledge Happy New Year, but we really celebrate our new year as spring approaches.
Yeah, in alignment with nature.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's a good title for this episode too. well, you had mentioned the bandwidth. You had said something that was pretty dope before I had got up. It was something bandwidth, but yeah, checking your bandwidth, seeing what you really can handle, being honest with yourself. So that way, when you go into the new year, whichever new year you honor, like my wife just said, we honor that our new year falls in the spring. This is the dead season that we're going into, which is the season to plant the seeds. Because we know in the spring is when things come back alive, which means your manifestations breathe more life and come from that realm into this realm. Whichever one you prefer, not my problem. And I'm not even challenging you on it. I'm saying that you need to have an honest conversation with yourself and check what your bandwidth really is going into whichever new year you consider a new year to be. Because I just want the best for you, period. So it's less about which new year you honor and more about how are you honoring yourself by being real and truthful with what you can and can't handle. If something is a lot for you, it's okay to say that it's a lot.
Right.
If you are choosing to still stick with it, even though it is a lot, say it out loud, tell a neighbor or something. So that way you can take the accountability and let them know you're not looking for sympathy. You're just acknowledging the truth and the reality of what it is. You know, like I don't talk about our relationship too often with people in our circle. Not because I don't trust them, but because I've learned that as you dive deeper into relationships, some things need to be between you and your partner. And you need to be able to work those things out with you two and whichever belief system that you have. Because when you start getting outside opinions, those opinions can overshadow yours or undermine yours. And so I'm touching on that because I know a lot of us out here, we are looking for answers outside of ourselves. And usually if you can get still for a while, you can find the answer that you need. It's really if you believe that you can apply it and make it work. Sometimes the answer that we find in ourselves isn't the one that we really want. And we don't want to acknowledge it because we say, oh, that can't be right. Because it goes against what we think we want. But it'll always give you what you need. Hence why a lot of us get burnt out. That was one of the reasons why we got burnt out too. Giving to something that we thought was supposed to be our livelihood and, you know, on this chase for, and we got burnt out. I know me as a man, I got burnt out. And I've never been able to sit there and tell anyone, babe, yo, I am burnt out. I'm done. I'm tired. Hearing that as the call for, yo, give me time. Yo, I'm here with you, but I need time. I'm doing things for us, but I need time. These are the types of conversations that are needed in order to see where your bandwidth is running low so you can be the most productive you that you can be, the most giving you that you can, and you're not pouring from an empty cup like me and my wife have done for not only each other, but for others throughout our entire life. So just like now, we're coming back to this podcast recentered and recharged and taking it a lot more serious because there are business benefits to having a creative job like this. And this is a career path.
Right.
You know, and I can acknowledge that this is something that I wasn't taking seriously enough. And I'm looking at many people who I don't know and who I do who are benefiting from being consistent. Even as we find our voice and we find our topics and we find the ways to connect deeper with you all, it can still be done in a way that is fun, that is exciting, eye-opening, right? And at the end of the day, still nourishes that part of us that quenches knowledge, that is thirsty for knowledge, and wants to make it applicable, not only for us, but for anyone who listens. So it's about figuring out the bandwidth. What's your bandwidth?
What's your bandwidth?
What it is, yo. What's your bandwidth be? Where you at with it? You being stretched? Good. You probably ain't stretched in 5 years. You probably ain't stretched in 5 years. You need that joint stretched out.
When we publish this, we're gonna go into our stories on IG. What's the handle on IG? Is it Can I Talk My Shift Pod?
No, I just cannot talk my shift.
Can I Talk My Shift?
Yeah.
And we're gonna ask, what's your bandwidth? And we want to know. We want to know what is it that you are, not stretching yourself to fit in your life, or what is it that you haven't stretched yourself that you need to stretch yourself. Be on the lookout for that. And, take with you, if you will, the little nugget that says, hey, you need to stretch yourself more. Check your bandwidth. Do you need to stretch yourself more? Or do you need to relax? Do you need to put some things down? Make sure that you're asking yourself those questions, because either way, there's something that that is needed in your life, whether you need to stretch to get it or whether you need to relax to get it.
Man, and that's another thing that we're going to learn about too. Letting go and learning to recharge yourself, not by doing, but by resting. Literally resting, yo. Like, I know as a man, I was like, what do you mean? Like, I can just chill and I can still attract what I need. See, that word gets thrown around and I know it's like a trigger word now. Manifestation, attracting, the law of attraction, and all of that shit. But I'm here to tell you that a lot of that stuff comes from the original teachings. And like I said, we're going to get into a lot of that this year or next year. But in this season of Can I Talk My Shift? So be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for it. Be on the lookout for this lovely family.
Oh, yeah, because there's a lot coming in 2025. We're gonna take you on a journey, and hopefully we can inspire you to do some things that you have been wanting to do and haven't been able to, or say some things that you've been wanting to say and haven't.
Yeah. And not only will you find us in between your ears with every episode, but you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram, Can I Talk My Shift, TheLG_, and Sam Walker Inspo. That is our handles. That is the 3 handles for this podcast and its host. Be on the lookout for interviews, because not only will it be my wife and I sharing our experiences, but we also want to give a platform for anybody else, for interesting people of the culture who want to come up here and have a change of heart at some point in time in life, who just want to share their experiences and their shifts. And yeah, of course we're going to drop great books on you. But like we said, this is just an update episode, and we getting warmed back up. It's like when you come off the IR and you can't just hop back in and run a race, right? Or get back in the game and drop 20, or be a quarterback and get right back in and have the greatest game of your life. Though that happens, we're taking the small steps, because we want to be able to make sure that we're providing you the best of the best, and we're moving from a centered place. a confident place. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, episode 1 of season 3, what your bandwidth be like? DLG, Sam Walker Inspo, Lil Boop, who's co-hosting. Obviously, she want to co-host now. And yeah, stay tuned. Find us on every single DSP where podcasts are streamed, especially Apple Music. Make sure you rate the podcast. That way people who are interested in the same things you are can easily find us. And also, what else we say?
Download your favorite episodes.
Download
too.
your favorite episodes.
Subscribe to the show. Download your favorite episodes.
Yeah.
Rate and review us 5 stars so that the platforms know to keep pushing out this type of content to you.
For sure. Till next time, y'all. Can I Talk My Shift? Season 3, episode 1. You have just heard it, witnessed it, felt it, and share it. Share it on your platform. Share it with a loved one. Share it with a friend. Share it with a coworker. Someone who needs it. Because this family is rooted in unity, and the shifts that we're making in our life, we want to find like-minded individuals who are doing the same, and let's build community the right way. Community does not mean uniformity. Shout out to Rizza Islam. I'm sure that's where I heard it from. I believe that's where I heard that from. Community is not uniformity, and I felt that in my soul.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to be alike in every single shape, way, and form, but our intentions need to be aligned. If our intentions are alike, then we can have a community. And until the next time, I hope I can leave you with that.
Thanks so much. I love you, love.
For sure. I love you too. I love you for listening. Appreciate you. And till next time, y'all.